Another useful feature I found is if I just need to scrub a bit of speed off, just use the weedy back brake. This thing has a pair of hello, cow alert. How did he get up there? He thinks he's a goat. If you just need to scrub a bit of speed off, the weedy back brake is great for that, and it just stops you grabbing a little bit of front brake and those massive twin Brembros lurching you forward. And again, that's just making it a bit easier on the Pillion on these undulating up and down roads. And when you get to downhill sections, if you can anticipate it and just try and glide down them rather than brake down them, you just use your engine to glide down them. Because every touch of your brake is something the Pillion has to think about. Ah, hello. Well, I've picked some small roads. Come on, you go. I can't go back. Go on. You'll have to come back. Oh. She's come back. Thanks. Yeah, I'll be happy enough when I'm off this road, I have to say. But you'll never see it otherwise unless you come down here. Well, that was great. Back onto a main road. Well, you know, main road, loose term. The B3212. Wow. So I think that's pretty much the end of Dartmoor National Park. We're just kind of in the countryside now. This is the perfect summer's day for this. Oh, sheep in the fields, cattle in the middle of the road, standing up on tree stumps. What more could you want? See there, I'm trying to scrub off a bit of speed here as much as I can with my rear brake, and it just takes that pressure off Pillion. Motor Museum, there's lots of little places to stop. Do you want to go around a motor museum?
This is still in Dartmoor National Park, and this is the Moreton Hampstead Motor Museum, and it was a great little place to visit and stretch your legs. I think it was £7 in, something like that. Lots and lots of cars, lots and lots of motorbikes. Yeah, something for everyone there. Well, fun over. So we decided to make our way across again. We were heading for Bournemouth at the moment, so out of Dartmoor, and we were looking for a place to stop for lunch, and boy did we find a great place to stop for lunch. I'm just reading from the website here, but the oldest pub in Devon, and possibly the oldest in England, this pub dates back to 825 AD. It used to be a nunnery and a farm, and originally inhabited by the early Britons Celts before the building was remodelled in 1081. 1081, that would have been after 1066, of course, and the invasion of the Normans and stuff like that, hence the Britons Celts reference earlier. In 1086, it was one of the 9 small holdings mentioned in the Domesday Book. I tell you, it's a fantastic pub run by a fine fella, and he actually owns a Triumph Tiger Explorer too. Very nice. Suitably fed and watered, we headed out east across the south coast of England and to Bournemouth, our destination that night, to meet up with some friends we were staying with. So we got to our destination of Bournemouth, and the break was welcome, I have to say. It really was. I found riding 2 up with a lot of luggage as the rider, the main rider, I found it quite taxing, because you're always thinking of your pillion, and with you riding the bike, of course, you're getting the enjoyment out of riding the bike and whatnot like that, and they're just a pillion sitting on the back taking in the scenery, maybe listening to a bit of music, whatever, but the journey's not as engaging for them as it is for you. You're getting all the benefits they're getting, but you're also getting the benefits of riding your bike, which you love anyway, so we stopped here for a couple of days, and look, this is just us going down to Christchurch and Christchurch Cathedral, and having a look round these Norman ruins on top of the hill here, and then we wandered back into town for a bite to eat for lunch and stuff like that, and a few beers. So it was great to have a few beers, knowing we weren't riding again the next day. We could relax, and I think that's important when you're on a journey. You got to remember there's so much more in it for you as the rider, but not so much the passenger. So that was our obligatory running round the end of the photograph to catch each other in the photograph. So off to the pub now then, and that was nice too.
They're putting up with us. Thanks for hosting us. Let's off-road. Trial brakes, don't need to. The Ford was very low. Coming into the New Forest here, Alan. The New Forest, it's called. So it's a park. So that's it. It's just a park that's been there a lot of time. There's usually a lot of horses roaming around. The Swan. There's always a pub called the Swan somewhere.
Obviously, these roads are slow going, but to me, the journey is as much as the destination. Look, we could either make faster progress on faster roads, dual carriageways and motorways, and get to our destinations quicker. But for me, motorcycling is about enjoying the journey as you're taking it. So that's why I love this bike for that. And hopefully the Pillion gets more out of it rather than sitting on, I don't know, the M1 or the M6 or something like that too.
Still in the New Forest, as you might have gathered. Shit on the road. Cow shit on the road. Bye, cows. Hello, little pony. Hello. Hello. Wasn't frightened at all, was he? We're just swinging by to have a quick look at Salisbury Cathedral, because we're in the area.
Hello there.
Oh yeah.
You on the park, sir?
Yeah, just for 10 minutes or so.
Put your bike behind these. You only staying 10 minutes?
Yeah, grand. No, I'll pay because of no.
It's only £1. But
Oh.
let's go behind the lavenders.
Grand. Cheers. Last but one day of the trip and it started raining. But we're here outside Salisbury Cathedral. And Alan tells me the Magna Carta's inside. It is.
Oh, that was a great stop at Salisbury Cathedral, and there's a little war museum there as well, just off that square. So we went in there because it started raining. So that was a nice break. We couldn't get in the cathedral, unfortunately, because of COVID, and you had to book it a few days in advance at the time. But not to worry, it was a nice walk around the place. So we ended up heading out back over to Wiltshire to stop with a couple of old friends. I went to college with them 36 years ago. It's always great to catch up, as it happens so infrequently. So this stop was all about a bit of an R&R for the rider, me. I don't mind saying that that riding with the responsibility of a pillion does add an extra dimension to riding, and a little extra pressure is heaped on all round. This is my last overnighter in the UK, and it was a great opportunity to relax and prepare for the long ride up the next day up through North Wales and some lovely roads around Snowdonia and stuff like that. But great to catch up with old friends, great for me to relax, great for me to get off the bike for a night and kind of enjoy myself and distance myself from the bike for a little bit anyway, just to break things up a bit. Well, anyway, up and at 'em next day, time to hit the road, and good long ride up through North Wales. So we'll take a little bit of motorway, knock off a good chunk of it, and then get through the scenic side of North Wales.
That's good. It's better for you to take it with you.
Hi. Shut it, car. Shut it. Oh, God. I can't get that picture out of my head now. I've always known Gareth like this. I just never had the heart to tell his kids, but look, I'm glad he's living his life.
So, on the road towards Snowdonia. Lovely little road. Just pull off the A5. So if you're ever coming up on your way to the ferry terminal, you can take this little kind of 20-mile extra lump on the end and still come out the ferry terminal from Holyhead, rather than sit at the ferry terminal. It's the A494 to Bala, as it says here. Need a postal letter? I was just wondering whether you needed to post a letter, that was all. Yeah. There's fucking post boxes in the middle of nowhere in this place. You know, you can instigate comms as well. You can press your comms button and it'll connect to me. Oh, okay. Oh, you just don't want to talk to me then, oh.
Actually, some of the great tools we used on the journey, we both had Cardo units, and they made a big difference, a huge difference to the journey. Just being able to communicate with the Pillion, or the Pillion to be able to, communicate with me and say, look, you know, slow down a bit or speed up a bit or whatever it may be. And the ability for them to listen to their own music so they can kind of cut out of my ramblings here as I'm talking away on my journey, talking about, you know, the bike and the Pillion and all that sort of stuff. They make a big difference, and I wouldn't underestimate how much they give the Pillion as well for something else to do and to talk about or listen to music separately, as I say.
God, if they could get this village together and flower basket line this entire road, it would transform this village. It's a beautiful village with, but it could be absolutely stunning. Councils haven't got the money for that shit though, have they? It'd have to be a kind of voluntary thing, bit of a community spirit thing, but it would be lovely. Well, that's mighty imposing in the middle of the village. Oh, that's come out to a beautiful road. Stunning. What a lovely bridge. Yeah. Those tables are pretty damn close, weren't they? Yeah. This is Betsy Coed. It's quite a nice village. Oh, look at this road. Wow, windy. Oh, look at that view. Nothing behind me, cut the corners. Oh, I think I'm a bit afraid of heights. I find that quite scary. Oh, oh, that's a great road. It's been raining up here, and we've missed it again. Oh my God, we've gone hundreds of miles today, and we've just caught rain on the M5, and that was it. Oh yeah. That's great, isn't it? Yeah. Oh my arse, 6 days on the road. I had enough. An hour from the ferry. That'll do me.
Now, I'm lucky enough to have a sister that lives near the ferry terminal, so we were about, I don't know, an hour early for the ferry. So it was great to be able to sit down for a cup of tea and a bit of cake, all for free, because I'm a bit tight like that. And then just scoot off to the ferry just before it was about to leave. So brilliant end to the trip.
So what did I learn up touring? Well, some of the bike capabilities are definitely needed. Definitely need a bike with a good load capacity, and it's surprising how few they are. You know, a lot of people say, geez, what do you want a big 1200 for and all that sort of stuff. But look, with my weight, my Pillion is 6'4" rugby player. Probably between the two of us, we're at least 230 kilos on that bike. That's without any panniers or luggage or anything like that. There's few bikes that can take that. Look, we know you can go over those limits, but gee, we were well over it. That just wouldn't have been a viable trip on my Africa Twin. It just wouldn't have been. Easily adjustable preload or auto preload. Look, that's what the preload's for. It was great to have an auto preload in this. Whatever I put on the bike, look, this thing was probably maxed out on its preload anyway. But Again, something my old Africa Twin wouldn't have been good at in this respect. The spring rate was too low for a heavily loaded bike, but this bike's well made for it. There's plenty of others that are well made for it, of course, but you need that. You need that capability. I think if you're going 2-up everywhere, especially if you're going to carry all your luggage with you. What else is important in the bike capabilities? Well, a comfortable seat. On this Triumph, they're using this mesh seat that they brought out in 2018. It's a very comfortable seat. It's the best I've ever had on a bike. Hill hold, something I didn't think much of, but helped me a lot actually. 2-up, fully loaded, helped me quite a lot actually. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed having it, and I used it. So good feature of the bike. Enough engine power and a smooth power delivery. So kind of two things. Look, this bike, it's probably about 140, 143 brake horsepower, something like that. With that weight and stuff, that was great for that bike. I wouldn't have liked a 100 horsepower engine with all that luggage. It just wouldn't have been enough. It just wouldn't have been enough for us. I did have a 100 horsepower bike, and I found it very asthmatic 2-up, and that would have kind of annoyed me over several days. Quick shifter saved a lot of helmet bumping. That was a good feature in that the Triumph quick shifter works very well. If you've got a Triumph and it doesn't, then get it adjusted, because that makes the driving very smooth on this bike. So good feature for 2-up riding. So I would look for those features of a bike if I'm looking at a bike. One thing that added a lot to the journey was having comms, so we could speak to each other, or the Pillion could just go off and listen to music and listen to a podcast or do whatever they wanted, to give them something extra to do. So that was handy. So that's covered the bike. What else did I learn? Well, look, never too old to learn, always happy to learn. I learned a lot on this journey. As I say, I've had plenty of Pillions before, just not on longer journeys. So things I found out, just my rider practices, much more considered acceleration and deceleration. Not just braking, even just decelerating. Some bikes have stronger engine braking than others. This one's kind of middle of the road, really, the one I'm on, but it made a big difference to my Pillion after a couple of days, once I realised that, that was creating a lot of effort for them. Plenty of brakes. The more we went on, the more brakes we took. I'm getting the enjoyment out of riding that bike. The Pillion's getting enjoyment out of being on the bike, of course, if that's their bag, but they're not getting as much as you are. So plenty of brakes to give them, break up their day. A reasonable time in the saddle. I probably planned too much mileage per day, and I probably just had myself in mind when I planned the mileage. I was happy to do 8 and 10 hour days on this bike. It was far too much for my Pillion. They just didn't want to do that much time sitting on a bike. Another thing that I did do on this was a no riding day in the middle of the trip. That was great, actually, but it was great for me too, because it allowed me to shed a few beers and not worry about driving the next day, and it just kind of broke it up a bit. Perhaps if I did that again, I'd choose a bit more of a mix of roads. I perhaps chose too many small roads. Like, I went on tiny roads everywhere. I might have maybe picked my destinations a bit more and made a bit more of progress in some places. But look, that's for another day. One thing I'd definitely do is consider riding from a base and allow me to get rid of my panniers and luggage and take a minimal amount of luggage, maybe just a top box or something like that, just to kind of shed the load a bit. Look, I used everything I brought with us, but I probably didn't need it all on every day. But that's all very well me saying that, but if you're covering ground and you want to go and see lots of different places, you've got to take everything with you. But if I was going again, I might try and use a base and then star out from that base on journeys if I was going out for a week or something like that. That's just an idea though, but yeah, who knows? Would I do that? I don't know. But so that's what I learned about 2-up riding. And so the next time I'm out 2-up riding, I'll be more considerate of my Pillion. Or next time, I just won't take a pillion, and then I can do what I bloody well like.
Quick place to rest our bums. Hey, Alan.